I think it's time to give up on this thing. I need to put new batteries in it. The Christmas special of this year's Doctor Who episode. The Doctor Who episode this year for Christmas. The only Doctor Who episode this year has had a new leak. Alleged leak. I'm entitled to believe this one more than others, but we'll have a quick look at it now, shall we? It's over on Reddit. Reddit leaks. They're always true, guys. They're always really true. So let's have a little look, shall we? Okay, we're over on Reddit, and this is r/British TV, which is interesting. I'll explain that a little more in a moment. And Embarrassed Novel 991 says, the things you should have done 2026 Christmas special. I took a screenshot of this last week from the UK production website to send to a friend, but the page seems to have been taken down now. Might be officially announced at a later date. So, we've obviously got Mrs. Brown's Boys 2026 Christmas special. Of course, it happens every year. Somehow that's still going. The Gladiators 2026 Christmas special. Weakest Link Christmas special. Strictly Come Down to Christmas special. Untitled Call the Midwife spin-off. That's interesting, but not to do with Doctor Who, so we won't talk about that here. I've clicked on it by mistake. EastEnders Christmas special. Michael McIntyre's The Wheel. Things You'd Have Done. Gruffalo. Death in Paradise. Blah, blah, blah. But the interesting one here, Doctor Who 2026 Christmas special. World War Dalek. What does that mean then? Now, there's lots of things I'll say about this. I think this is more believable than some other leaks we've had in the past because it's not from a Doctor Who subreddit. It's not someone posting on Doctor Who subreddit being like, I want to get in a Tharies video, I want to get in Confused Adipose video, I want to get in a Cybus Industries employee video. It's none of that. It's just on a different subreddit. It's on British TV. Now, unless someone's being really clever and trying to make us think this by putting it on there, I could believe this being real. What I don't believe is the title. Now, it could be a working title. It could change because obviously at this point in time, the episode's not even been made yet. It's not even started filming, so we don't know what fully happens in the episode. But World War Dalek seems like a pretty crap episode title. No offence if it is the title, but we had this whole thing last year with The Lost Doctor, the TLD, The Last Doctor, The Lost Doctor, The Lonely Doctor. What could that be? What could that title be? And that is a better title than World War Dalek. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we've had Daleks, Victory to the Daleks, whatever, that was set in World War II with Daleks in it. World War Dalek would just add confusion to that. Do you not think? If someone said World War Dalek, you wouldn't think of that. You'd probably think of the one with the Daleks in the World War. So it's weird. It's interesting. I'm a bit confused on where I stand with it. Now, what would this mean for the Daleks? Obviously, the Daleks haven't been back for a long, long time, and it sort of feels a little bit of a punch to the gut if we get Daleks the episode after Shooty left. Unless Shooty's in it, he comes back for a cameo. That'd be nice. But if he doesn't, and Shooty never got to fight a Dalek, which is like the one thing he wanted to do the most as a Doctor, if we get Daleks the episode after, that's very, very cruel, Mr. Russell, Mr. T. Davies. So I hope that's not the case, unless I say Shooty, like I say, Shooty's in it. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but there's plenty of videos online of people explaining how they think this episode's going to go, like Confused Adipose. He did a whole script basically of how he thought the episode was going to go with God Daleks, which could be true. But I think this could also be false. I mean, I'm just saying this could be true, but this could be false. I don't know how I lean on it because, like I say, the fact it's not on a Doctor Who subreddit is very, it's very someone's not begging for a Doctor Who fandom response here. But also, if you're not a Doctor Who fan and you're writing up a fake thing of the Christmas specials on BBC this year, what would you guess? Of Doctor Who? Daleks? Yeah, World War Dalek makes sense. So this could just be someone who's a general member of the public and doesn't really watch Doctor Who and just thinks, oh, Dalek, I'll just write down World War Dalek. They probably haven't done that before. Little do they know there's a whole episode of the Daleks in World War II. Also, World War Dalek doesn't make much sense because a world war would imply that it's like a civil war of the planet, whereas Daleks aren't from this planet. So, I don't know. I don't bloody know. Now, one last thing. In the comments of this Reddit post, we have Doctor Who fan 789EYWIM that says, World War Dalek? I can't believe RTD would have let a title like that be published so early. This is what I'm saying. I don't think Russell would have given this to the BBC and gone, World War Dalek. I think he would have just said there's a Christmas special this year. So, yeah, I don't think this guy makes a valid point of RTD wouldn't let that title be out there until he fully knows what's going on. We know there's multiple versions of the scripts. We know Billie Piper and David Tennant might not be available to properly do it like they, I think, was the original plan. So Russell wouldn't give them a title, I don't think. So, yep, I kind of doubt he'd be working on the title. This is also true. I think it's a placeholder title. Sounds like a dumb episode title. This is exactly what I was saying. World War Daleks sounds pretty dull and like an episode that a non-fan would come up with for a fake Christmas special. To be fair, we had an episode called The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, Space Babies, and A Holiday for the Doctor before. This is Positively Normal. Again, that's also true. There are some dodgy titles out there, but this is an important special. They need to make sure they get this right. If they don't get this special right, it's game over. It's game over. The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe is a terrible episode, but I feel like the title isn't too awful considering it's a Christmas episode. Yeah, I mean, it is parodying the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, isn't it? So I don't think that's too bad. The same area with an episode called Space Babies. I genuinely wouldn't put it above Russell to name an episode World War Dalek, especially if this is his Hail Mary before he's being shown out the door. I don't think Russell's being shown out the door. I don't even know if Russell's leaving. I saw a valid argument the other day that they're looking for a new Doctor, so to be in the episode. So would that imply Russell's maybe not going? I don't know. Space Babies, I think, is an episode that you can rip apart for the title, but actually, if you look at it, it was meant to be a parallel to An Unearthly Child. An Unearthly Child is the first episode of Doctor Who ever in 1963, and Space Babies was the first episode in this new Disney era. They both mean the same thing. An Unearthly Child and Space Babies mean the same thing. So I think they were a parallel of each other. So I don't think that's as bad as these titles. I don't think that's as bad as World War Dalek. But just quickly, as I was saying, obviously Russell, he might stay on because they were looking for new doctors, allegedly, in The Sun. The Sun say their source claims that they're looking for a new doctor to be in the episode. If they're looking for a new Doctor to be in the episode, would that not imply that Russell's staying? A bit like the giggle that he did with Shooty? Obviously, this could just be the Doctor to appear at the end after the actual regeneration and then he hands off the show to someone else. But if Bad Wolf are looking for a new Doctor, that means at least Bad Wolf are staying. And if Bad Wolf is staying, I can see Russell staying on, if even not as a writer, but as like an executive producer. So I don't know. There's a lot to take away from this. I'm going to disprove this Reddit... Well, not disprove, but I'm not believing this Reddit leak. I don't think this is true. I think someone has just made up a load of Christmas specials on there. I call the Midwife spin-off. Would that happen? I don't think so. So I think someone here has just made up... It's probably not a Doctor Who fan and just gone, World War Dalek. That sounds like a Doctor Who episode. And they've put it in. That's all. That's what I think. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Do you believe this to be true? Do you want this to be an episode, or do you not give a toss? Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, leave a like. That means the absolute world. There's a button in the comments that helps me out most. Hype. If you press hype, it means the absolute world. If you want to support me in a monetary way, you get a shout out in the next video if you become a member, or leave a super thanks in the comments. It's a couple of quid. If you become a member, you get a members only videos, access to those as well. Or you could just become, you could just leave a super thanks. You get a shout out in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And ta-ra! New batteries. Coming soon.